So for these existential questions here, in both of these cases, you wanted to find out what the values of x and y are for each of these figures in order for the shape you see there to be a parallelogram. In the first example here, you're shown that you're given these measurements that constitute parts of the diagonals. And then we know in a parallelogram, if it is a parallelogram, those diagonals have to bisect one another. So as a result of that, I would know that x has to equal 2y, and I know that 2x plus 14 would have to equal 5x minus 4. And that second one is the one I might want to go with on this one because doing that creates an equation where I can actually solve it. Whereas x equals 2y, not really solvable. So I note that x equals 2y, but I do note also that 5x minus 4 equals 2x plus 14. And I solve this second equation. So I subtract 2x from both sides, I add 4 to both sides, and I divide both sides by 3 to get that x equals 6. And now that I know that x equals 2 times y, I know that 2y equals 6, so y has to be 3. For the second figure, now x and y's are involved in angle measurements for the various parallelograms. Now, I know that opposite angles have to be congruent to each other. However, each time, if I try to set up the equations for that, I would end up with a circumstance where I have two different variables, and although I could solve it using a system of equations, it's not the easiest way of doing it. If I also use the fact that consecutive angles like 2y and 4y, as well as x and 5x minus 180, would have to be supplementary or total 180, that would make it easier time for me because I would set up an equation in both those cases that would allow me to easily solve for it. So although this way I did set up a system of equations just to kind of show it. I do note that x equals 2y, and I did substitute. So 4y equals 5 times 2y minus 180. So 4y equals 10y minus 180. I subtracted 10y from both sides. And then divided both sides by negative 6 to get that y equals 30. And if x equals 2 times y, that means that x has to be 60. Not the only way of solving it, because I was kind of alluding to another way of solving it before I remembered how it was I put it on here. So if you did it a different way and got the same answers, you're probably pretty good as well. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me. Have a good day, everybody.